Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I am going to give my final picks and my final bets for UFC Abu Dhabi going down this Saturday. We have Corey Sandhagen going up against Umar Nurmagomedov in the main event. But I do have a few pick switches from my early breakdown this week on Monday. I did have a few pick switches, so I'm going to go over my final picks for this card and just my bets that I have for this card. So let's get into it right now. So you know how we do it. We start from the bottom and work our way to the top. So let's go with the first fight of the morning. Don't forget the early time, the time start for this card, 9 a.m. I live in the West Coast of Pacific time, so you guys do the math there. Cedricus Dumas versus Dennis Tuluyan. I'm going Dumas. I'm staying with Dumas. I'm not high on Dennis Tuluyan, but I think this is a big prove-it spot for Dumas to see if he's still evolving in his skill, if he's taking the sport serious. He's still a little bit green, I feel like. So I think this is a big showing for Dumas to see what he really is about. I get that people are very low on Tuluyan. I am. But if this fight does stand on the feet, this could get really interesting, I think. Tuluyan's a striker. He can make things scrappy. He's a brawler. So Dumas has to get to the fights at the ground and lock up a sub, I think. Or it could be a 29-28 decision either way. So give me Dumas for the first fight of the night or the morning. Next fight up, we have Jai Herbert versus Rolando Bedoya. I'm going on with the underdog here with Bedoya. I think Bedoya is going to just be the more active fighter here. I think he's going to land more. I'm not too high on Jai Herbert. I know the striking is there, but I think the miles are adding up on the chin. I'm not too high on the output on the Herbert side, so I think Bedoya has a good defensive skill set here on the feet. I just think he's going to accumulate a lot more strikes and volumes that's going to add up on the cards. So give me Bedoya by decision here. And that's my underdog number one. Next fight, we have Victoria Dudikova versus Sam Hughes. I picked Sam Hughes at the beginning of the week. I'm going to stay on the Sam Hughes side. I'm not too comfortable. I'm not too comfortable today picking Sam Hughes as I was on Monday. But again, I think this is just a big prove-it spot for me for Dudikova. I'm not a big fan of Dudikova. I'm not a fan of what I've seen from Dudikova so far. And I think Sam Hughes is just a dog. She's just a dog, and she's going to make you fight. She's going to bring the fight out of you. This is going to showcase what Dudikova has, and she's going to have to bring it. I know Dudikova is strong with the takedowns. I think Sam Hughes, yes, she has been getting taken down, but she has gotten up. She has worked her way up to her feet. And I think Sam Hughes is going to push that pressure so much. I think we're going to see Dudikova cardio and see how she handles a rough 15 minutes of a fighting Sam Hughes. So I'm taking Sam Hughes by decision here. I think this is a scrappy fight. But yeah, give me the underdog number two with Sam Hughes. Next up, we have Guram Gutatelatez versus Jordan Vujacic, or Vucenic. Sorry, Vujacic is a basketball player. Jordan Vucenic. I started off picking Guram at the beginning of the week, and I'm going to stay on the Guram side. Vucenic just fought. He just fought like 2 weeks ago. I know he came out of that fight clean. I think Vucenic is going to be a nice prospect here in the UFC, but I think this is just a huge step from what he was fighting in Cage Warriors to what he's getting into in his UFC debut. I think this is a lot. I think Guram, with the time off, I think he has sharpened the skills, sharpened the mind, and I think he's ready to prove that he is worthy to stay in the UFC. I think Guram gets a finish here. I think Jordan Vucenic shows out in his next fight, and once he gets his feet wet with his debut here, I think Vucenic comes back and we see a better performance. But I don't like the short notice here for Vucenic. So yeah, give me Guram to win by knockout. Next fight, we have Shamil Gaziev versus Dontel Mays. I'm taking Gaziev to I don't know what, I don't know how, but I'm just gonna take Gaziev. I'm not too high on Mays. I think Mays is just a lower tier heavyweight fighter. Maybe the stand up is there, but I think Shamil is just. I think he's just a dog. He does charge forward. He does empty out the gas tank early. I just think that all that volume and just that pressure from Shamil is a lot for Mays to handle, and I don't think Mays does well with the pressure. So give me Shamil by TKO in knockout. Next fight we have Muhammad Yahya versus Cau Fernandez. I'm taking Fernandez in this fight. I'm not too high on Yahya. I'm taking Fernandez by decision. I think Fernandez is just going to out wrestle him. Yahya. Yeah, I think it could be. I just think Yahya is just as slow. He fights slow on the feet. The strikes come out slow. It's almost like he's fighting at a sparring pace. I like just Fernandez's wrestling more in this fight too. So I got Fernandez by decision. Next fight we have Alonzo Menifield versus Amzamat Murzakanov. I'm going Murzakanov. I'm not too high. I mean, I'm a fan of Alonzo, but Alonzo makes way too many mistakes IQ wise where I cannot get behind Alonzo. Especially him getting knocked out by Alberg, which is not a bad thing, but it's the way he got knocked out for him to sprint across the octagon, chin up in the air, charge at Alberg, and Alberg just slept him in 12 seconds. It just comes to the IQ and the choices that Alonzo makes. He's a great athlete. I think he's a great fighter, but I just can't get behind the mistakes. The IQ is just questionable at times. It's very frustrating to watch Menifield make these mistakes over and over again. So I can't get behind that. I'm gonna go with Murzakanov. I don't know. I'm not gonna say, guys. To stay undefeated here, 14-0. I think he gets a finish. I think Alonzo goes to sleep again. So give me Amzamat by knockout. And then to kick off the main card for UFC Abu Dhabi, we have Joel Alvarez versus Elvis Brenner. I'm taking Elvis Brenner here. I'm taking another underdog here. I'm with Alvarez with the inactivity. It kind of worries me. I think he's a sharp fighter, but this man has no takedown defense. I know Alvarez does great work with the submissions, but I like the dog. I like the dog fight of Elvis Brenner too. So I think we're gonna see an interesting fight on the feet, but I think Elvis Brenner does a better work on the ground. I'm going to take Elvis Brenner here to get a decision win here. So I'm taking another underdog with Elvis Brenner. Next fight, we have Mackenzie Dern, Lupe Godinez. I'm going Lupe Godinez here, another underdog. It's almost close to even. We got minus 120 for Dern and plus 100 for Godinez. So basically, it's a pick 'em right now. I am going Lupe Godinez here. It does worry me a little bit that Godinez does leave herself open or finds herself in some bad positions on the ground. And that's not where you want to be with someone like Dern. But I think I trust in the evolution. I trust in the training in the gym that Godinez is in with Grasso and Diego Lopez. I'm going to trust in the adjustments. I'm going to trust in the training. I'm trusting in the skill set. I think she's a better boxer on the feet. Mackenzie Dern does throw some wild striking, throw some weird angled punches, but sometimes they do land and it does work. But she's sometimes just runs forward with her chin up in the air and just kind of throws wild. But she's just doing that to close the distance. But I don't know if she wants to do that with someone who boxes and has a boxing technique like a Godinez. So, and Lupe has better offensive wrestling. I don't know about the defensive wrestling, but I don't know, man. I like the stand up of Godinez, and I think Godinez can hold strong for 15 minutes to not get caught in submission by Dern. I think this is going to be another decision here, but I'm going Godinez 29-28 on the scorecard to win this fight. Next up, we have a Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chiesa. So this one I've been thinking about picking because I started off picking Chiesa on Monday, and the more I think about it, the more I think about the losing streak for Ferguson. I know it's a 7-fight losing streak, but he has had some bright spots in those performances. He knocked down Bobby Green in the first round. He won a round versus Michael Chandler. He was coming on strong against Patty in the third round when Patty was fading. You can find bright spots in those losses. I know he's on a losing streak, but he's still having bright spots. Chiesa, on the other hand, I know he's an analyst for the UFC. I've never been very high on Chiesa. I think the stand-up is terrible. He's going to do whatever he can to shoot and get this fight to the ground. And if that's the case, Tony Ferguson has a chance to lock up a sub. Like, it's not crazy to think that Tony Ferguson wins this fight. The more you think about it, and don't look at the records and look at the history between these guys and their resumes and their performances, it's not crazy to think that Tony Ferguson pulls out a win. I do have a bet on Tony Ferguson. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of money, and I'll go over that later after the picks. But I'm going to take Chiesa, but I would not be surprised if Ferguson loses or wins. Sorry. I won't be surprised if Tony Ferguson wins this fight, but I'm going to take Chiesa just to be safe. It's a safer pick, even though I don't feel comfortable with it. So give me Chiesa by decision. Next fight, we have Marlon Vera versus Davison Figueiredo. I started off picking Figueiredo. I actually had on my notes during the breakdown on Monday. I actually had Marlon Vera by split decision in my notes. And then before we recorded, I saw a video or a clip of Figgy training with Khabib. And that swayed my pick to picking Figgy. And I know I started this week saying I'm going to trust my gut and I'm going to trust what I see on the tape. So I'm going to switch my pick again, and I'm going to go with Marlon Vera to get a win here, decision. I'm going to go Vera by the split decision here. Vera is going to be the bigger fighter. I think Vera is going to be the stronger, toughest fight that Figgy has ever fought. Figgy's getting older. I know people want to say that Vera does start. He's a slow starter. The output's not there, but I did go over some numbers that kind of backed up that angle that people are arguing with the slow start. But I feel like, okay, I don't know if this is going to happen, but I feel like with Vera getting humiliated the way he did against O'Malley, I feel like he's coming into this fight with a little bit chip on his shoulder, and I think he is aware of the situation of a former champion from a flyweight coming up in the division, and Vera's kind of maybe on the downfall if he loses this fight. I think Vera's really aware of what's happening, and I think Vera has the skill set to battle a Figgy at 135. I know Figgy is a strong fighter. He does have the power in the hands. I think it's been carrying nicely at 135, up a weight class, but I think Vera just hits harder. He kicks harder. He punches harder. The power advantage is going to go to Vera, in my opinion. Figgy, if he decides to wrestle, and if that's part of the game plan, is just to be a heavy wrestling fighter. The fighter here to bring out the wrestling shoes first, which I think he is, especially with him seeing that he's training with Khabib for this camp. We may see Figgy shooting a lot, and I think Vera, he has been taken down, but I don't know, man. I like what I see, Vera getting back to the feet, stuff like that. Yeah, man, I'm going to go Vera. I'm going to go Cheeto by split decision here. In the co-main event, we have Shara Bullet Magomedov versus Michelle Olajaychuk. I'm going Shara Bullet to get a finish here. I like the kicks. I like the kick-heavy style from Shara Bullet to damage the legs, damage the body of Michelle Olajaychuk. Or Michal Olajaychuk. I think Olajaychuk has great boxing. It could get interesting on the feet, but the volume of kicks from Bullet is just it's crazy. And I think Bullet ends this fight by knockout, by a head kick. I think he does so much work with the legs and the body. I think he fakes to the body and goes upstairs and kicks Olajaychuk in the head. And I think Shara wins by knockout. Okay, so to move to the main event, Corey Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov. I started off picking Umar, and I'm gonna pick flip to Corey Sandhagen. I was picking Umar just off the volume of shots and wrestling. The wrestling is great, obviously, but I'm just not certain of what an Umar looks like in rounds 4 and 5, and I think this fight does go the distance. Corey's very hard to keep on the ground, so yes, the takedowns may come, but the long limb Sandman, I think he finds his ways up to his feet, and if this fight is going to stay on the feet for as long as it does, I have that advantage in Sandhagen. Even though Umar is very kick heavy, he's very active with the kicks, beautiful question mark kicks, I know, and he does follow up jabs with his kicks, so it's very weird, but this is almost like the Sam Hughes Dudikova thing. How I was saying, I need to see it. I need to see Umar take this step for me to believe it. So I'm going to jump to the underdog here, Corey Sandhagen, and I just need to see it. I need to see Umar put on a show or put on that performance that we all know that he can. But with this being his toughest fight and his resume kind of being some lower tier fighters, I think Corey is a tough stylistic matchup for Umar, and I think I was just praying and hoping for Umar to out wrestle this guy who has a great take. He can get up to the feet, and just a tough stylistic matchup for Umar, and I just have to see it for me to believe it. So I'm taking Corey Sandhagen. So to recap my final picks for UFC Abu Dhabi, I'm going Corey Sandhagen, dog number 1. I'm going Shara Bullet. I'm going Marlon Vera, dog number 2. I'm going Michael Chiesa. I'm going Lupe Godinez, dog number 3. I'm going Elvis Brenner, dog number 4. I'm going Azmat Murzakanov. I'm going Caio Fernandez. I'm going Shamil Gaziev. I'm going Guram. I'm going Sam Hughes, dog number 5. I'm going Rolando Bedoya, dog number 6. And I'm going Cedric Dumas. So those were my final picks, but now here are my final bets for UFC Abu Dhabi. I will be using the BetMGM Sportsbook. So this is where I'm getting my numbers from and my lines. But here are my bets for Saturday. First bet, I have Ferg. I have Ferguson by submission, plus 1,200. I'm doing a half a unit. I think there's value there. Chiesa gets reckless on the ground. He has been submitted. Even though he does have a lot of submissions himself and the ground game is impressive, he does make some mistakes that he leaves his neck exposed and he gets submitted himself. So it's not crazy, man. It's just a half a unit on Ferg to lock up a sub. That's plus 1,200. Next up, my next bet is Corey Sandhagen by decision is plus 650. I'm playing 1 unit on this. I think, like I said, I think this fight is going all 5 rounds, and I think Corey has the correct skill set to fight against that heavy wrestling style. And I think this fight goes 5 rounds, and I'm wondering what Umar looks like in round 4 and 5. I'm going, and to pass up that line of plus 650 by Sandman, I couldn't. So I'm going 1 unit on Corey Sandhagen by decision, and that's plus 650. And my last single bet is Marlon Vera by decision, is plus 300. I'm going 1 unit on that. Again, I think even if it does happen that it's a slow start for Vera coming out the gate in that first round, if it's a slow round for Vera coming out that first round, we have seen him pick up the volume, pick up the strikes, and just a better over performance in rounds 2 and 3. I think he has good enough takedown defense to defend those takedowns from a Figgy. He's going to be the bigger guy in this fight. Again, like I said with Sandhagen and Umar, I like the skill set that Vera has against a Figgy. So I'm taking Vera by decision plus 300, 1 unit. So the underdog parlay for me, I only have 2 fighters on this underdog parlay. I have Bedoya and I have Elvis Brenner on a 2-dog parlay. This is a plus 414. I'm only got 1 unit on this parlay. So, and then this is my big parlay for the card. Just kind of like my confident picks mixed with maybe a little bit of a riskiness here. But I am going Dumas, I'm going Gaziev, I'm going Lupe Godinez, I'm going Guram, and I'm going Shara Bullet. 5-fighter parlay. I have 1 unit on it, and it's a plus 694. So there's a bit risk with, I feel like with Dumas and Godinez. Those are my kind of iffy picks on this parlay here. I don't have enough trust in Dumas, but I'm just trying to make up that plus number go up a little bit more. So that is my kind of like risky parlay for this card. So, but those are my picks and my bets that I've placed for UFC Abu Dhabi going down this Saturday. Hopefully I've done enough to earn your sub with this breakdown. Hopefully if you guys do, tail my bets, hopefully I do you good and earn you some money. If I do, hopefully you come back to this channel and hit that subscribe button. But like the video, let me know your picks. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you guys for tuning in this week for the final picks episode. And I'll catch you on next week's card and next week's breakdown. Okay? And I'll see you guys right back here.
Try me, I can make the name. Potato barrel making mashed potatoes. They can't play me, boy, I'm gravy. I be ballin' full quarters, storing shit like a hoarder, Sleepy stretching with a big foe. Guess you playing power forward, Ride on my enemies, bumping that pop.